Good morning everyone. Let's get started on today's analysis. We're on the daily chart. As always, we're on EU. We have EU on the top, DXY on the bottom. So what's the daily showing us? Yesterday we had another bearish engulfing. This brought us below the previous weekly low and some other internal historical lows, right? So that bearish momentum is continuing, right? We did make a new low. So just judging from the higher time frame, of course, we're going to have a bearish leg on the lower time frame and we're going to be in the discount. If we go over to DXY, same thing, we took previous weekly high, some old high buy side liquidity. We've now today taken previous daily high, clear sweep of that on DXY, right? We're going to be in a premium as well on a lower time frame leg, never mind the higher time frame. And you can see we've been bearish since that sweep of buy side liquidity. I think we may have just barely done the same on EU, but we'll see that a bit more clearly on the lower time frame. So what does that mean? Sell side liquidity. Now we'll seek out possibly a premium, some buy side liquidity, or a PMI somewhere on the lower time frame possibly. So that's what I'm reading from price. All right, we've got liquidity taken nice and early this morning, and price is moving from there. Loads of news on the horizon, unfortunately, and I'll show you why on the lower time frame. So let's go on to the 4 hour. So on the 4 hour, we can just see that liquidity a bit more clearly. We've made that new low. So we've left behind an order block with imbalance that price could be drawn towards today, more into the premium. So a new lower low on the 4 hour. I would probably count the leg from up here, but it doesn't matter. I would say I'm just taking the critical confluence that we've been in a discount now. We've taken that sell side liquidity just barely from the previous daily low. Right, we've got these previous low here with the X, that was sell side liquidity yesterday as well. So plenty of sell side liquidity taken from this discount. I have this drawn below because that would be the next low on the higher time frame as a major point of sell side liquidity that we could target, whether we continue short from here or maybe up here. Up here would obviously be my preference, this order block, to get drawn into that and find some resistance. DXY clearly also made that high. We've swept that buy side liquidity from the previous daily high, very clear. You can see the 4 hour looks like a high test doji candle, which is great for a bias. So my bias is pullbacks, my bias is longs, right? At least in this London session or for today, short term, towards this premium of this leg. So I think that's very clear. So hopefully I'm getting that point across. Okay, discount, sell side liquidity, buy side liquidity on DXY, plenty of buy side liquidity from the previous days taken as well. Drawn towards a discount, drawn towards say this imbalance here and the other POIs on the chart. You can see we're having a strong reaction from this area. This isn't moving live, so it's probably more bearish than this, but you can see this massive bullish candle being formed here on EU. So let's go down to the hourly. Let's see what that looks like as well. So I've got this hourly leg drawn out from this high here to this low. Okay, so we're in the discount. We had this overnight price action trend line, which price is now taken already from sweeping that previous daily low, of course. I have this 1 hour order block POI up here with imbalance, which I've labeled as a premium draw, which is why I didn't label the order block on the 4 hour as they're in the same place. So I'm expecting price to come to at least a premium of this leg and possibly into this order block here. So I think this is a good draw on price. I think this is a good sell side liquidity sweep, especially with the sweep that's happened on DXY. As you can see, that hourly candle is about to close, as is this one, and it's going to be an engulfing, and there will be some internal M15 break-off structures above here, right? So I think all the signs are there. We've got the same draw on price on DXY as well, which is lovely, okay, towards this discount. So I have my bias, I have my direction for London and possibly today to head towards this premium. But as I said, there is news. There's a lot of CPIs, I believe, in Europe. So I don't know if we're going to be able to enter that trade. There's a news announcement every half an hour till like 10 o'clock. So yeah, I'll show you the trade I'm looking to get into now on the M15. So let's have a look. So this is what I'm looking at here on the M15. I think it's clear as day. I'll run through the confluences I'm using. Start off with DXY. We've got previous daily high swept, right? Previous daily high taken. And then we've now got break of structure, bearish break of structure to the downside. We're in a premium and we have a 1 hour POI in the discount as a draw on price after taking all that buy side liquidity. Now if we look closer, and going over to EU, we had a sweep of buy side liquidity internally in London for DXY, where this X is, whereas we had a higher low on EU, so SMC divergence indicating that strength. We have a clear break of structure above these structural highs here and internal highs here anyway. Left behind an order block with clear imbalance, loads of momentum from that candle closure. Lovely place to just set our order from, stop loss just below the low. You could use that low as well, right? And what I'd be waiting for is, of course, price to pull this way down, maybe correctively come into the order to trade up towards that premium. So that's exactly what I'm looking for. We'll have possible inducement around this zone here, and everything's clear. Initially, I was actually looking for it on the M5. The M5, I wanted that quick M5 break of structure here and pullback on the M5 there. Right, a nice early break of structure using a previous daily low and previous daily high on DXY with that SMC divergence would have been a great trade if it just pulled back really quickly to go higher. But then it turned into an M15 trade, so I won't be taking it on the M5 because it could just mitigate this order block at the high here and miss that M5 order, which has happened to me a few times this week. So that's what I'm looking for on EU. I think this is so clear, break of structure pullback, but this news announcement is there, and then there's more news announcements. So I wouldn't want price to pull back and enter at a news announcement because that would be silly, right? So it's red folder news, not with such a small stop. So at this point, it's a 9 pip stop from the near high of this candle to the low. So that's what it is this morning. I've now cancelled this order because of the news on the horizon. We'll see what happens. So let's move on. Let's go on to GJ. So on GJ here, of course, that bearish day played out after rejecting this daily order block, right? We pulled back up from this new lower low we formed. Previous weekly low sell side liquidity pulled back to a premium of this leg here. Order block respected, closed out as high test, and then yesterday continued that bearish move. We're yet to take out this low, which internally we'll see on the lower time frame, likely to be a weak low, right? Because lower high, lower low, but we'll see what's happening there. So from the daily, I do believe from this point here, we could continue to create a lower low, continue our bearish trend, lower high, lower low, lower high, possible lower low there. At the moment, that's not happened. We've taken previous daily low. You can see we was bearish, at least this morning, maybe through Asia. Took that previous daily low, sell side liquidity. Maybe there's a lower time frame POI here, but price has reversed and is bullish at the moment. Maybe it needs to come back to some sort of premium POI here. We'll see. I don't want to make too many assumptions from the daily, but we've taken sell side liquidity. We seem to have found some sort of momentum here to the upside. So we'll see more on the lower time frame. So let's go down to the 4 hour. So of course, on the 4 hour here, this is where the more complex pullback, where we made this this high here, low, and broke above this high, can make this a bit more complex, because yes, we respected this 4 hour order block and daily order block, broke down again. So on the daily, this looks more like a weak low, but on the 4 hour, of course, we've broken above a high, come back down to a 4 hour order block, which is holding price here somewhat. We've swept those internal lows below here as well, having a small bullish move from there. Now I do believe we'll come for this low. I think this is just a complex pullback, right, to a premium, and we'll probably eventually come for this, but it may not be immediate. We've found support here. This is an order block. We've got sell side liquidity from previous daily low. We've closed our candles above that, so we may head higher to a POI such as this, for example, or the imbalance, which could be drawing price to more of a premium before it continues lower. So I do have a little bias here already, a personal bias, just that I believe we're going to go lower. But from this discount here in this order block with this sell side liquidity, we may head higher first. So I'm 50-50. We may have to keep that in mind. I will have to look for a potential POI or somewhere for price to reverse to give me an indication to go short. The best shorts, of course, would be up here in a POI, or if there's an hourly POI. So let's go down to the hourly. Let's see what that looks like, see if we can establish more of a bias for today. So here on the hourly, I don't think so far it's really clarifying any picture for me. It does look more like we may pull back. We had the hourly POI up here, right? We mitigated that order block slightly and broke down. But as I've said before, we still have that 1 hour candle at the extreme left behind, and it's where that 4-hour order block still is. So perhaps we could pull back to that 4-hour order block, 1-hour order block maybe. That may be our best place to continue a short trend, right? At the moment, price looks to be, at least internally, right, these highs here will be like an M15 break of structure. The 1 hour is respecting this area after sweeping that sell side liquidity. All of this looks quite corrective, like buy side liquidity, no obvious POIs of imbalance to use as a resistance until we're up in this area. So I do believe we could possibly get them bullish pullbacks here, at least at the time being, but nothing fantastic that I can see here. Just sell side liquidity taken may lead to some sort of pullback in price. Let me mark in this sell side liquidity to make it clear as well. So I'm still a bit 50-50. So what I'll look for is order flow, like what we're having now. See if anything comes up on a lower time frame. See if there's opportunities to pull back to this area, or I may just wait for this area or something clear, a clear breakdown. So let's go down to the M15. Let's see what that looks like. We're seeing it here on the M15. Price reached down, made a high low. So this became weak, right? So that M15 structure is switched, which is starting that possible 1 hour pullback, bullish pullback towards possible premium and these POIs up here. So I think if order flow does continue and it does leave behind something, then we may get some trades, because the order flow today through Asia and into London now is high highs and possible high lows. So if we go on again to make high highs, right, we may just break above with price, leaving behind, say, this order block here, and then we can have some sort of corrective pullback down to this order block point to continue higher towards that premium. So I do think this looks okay. If this comes out, we'll have our order block there to set an order at. You can have your stop loss just below the low or just this low. The only thing I dislike a bit more is that there's no like internal sweep. So if we swept that sell side liquidity there and then broke above, that would look better to me. So maybe we'll have something form along that way if some structure forms. Possible corrective pullback, say, to this point here again with an order, stop loss just below the low to complete this little example here. So we may see something along these lines. It'll just be an order flow continuation following order flow that has been created today. I don't think it looks the best, but yeah, a sweep of internal sell side liquidity and then a break above would look much better to me. But I can see this order flow possibly continuing. So nothing super high quality here on GJ. I think the main opportunity is on EU. So that's everything. I hope you gained value from that. Hope it was clear. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.